So now that the ground war in Gaza has begun, the question now is how much land is Israel going to take that will trigger the Gentiles around about to try to once and for all, under the umbrella of the United Nations, by the way, probably led by Russia. How much land will Israel take to trigger a wrath so great that the Gentiles will come and try to force the 67 borders, or pre-67 borders? Well, I think I have some answers here, and I want to go ahead and get started. And what I want to do is start with Yoel, not Joel, but Yoel 3, and point out to you some details. There are summaries here, and then there are explanations. So the first two verses are summaries. Okay? And I would say verse 3 is also. In those days, or in that day and time, I will return the captives of Yehuda and Jerusalem, to gather the Gentiles and bring them into the valley of judgment. So he's going to, at a certain point in time, bring the captives of Yehuda and Jerusalem to gather the Gentiles, to bring them into the valley of judgment. And I will judge, not plead, I will judge the people for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So, as you can obviously see, since after 1945, when the Jews, many of the Jews of Jerusalem, were brought back into the Holy Land, it became a point of contention for the Arabs and eventually for the rest of the world. So, then he starts giving details. Tyre and Zidon, and the coast of Peleshet. Okay? So let's look at Tyre. We already know that they're invading northern to central Gaza now. And those lands are very likely in the near future to be evacuated. Move them down into South Gaza, or even into the Sinai Peninsula. And then Israel will annex that land. So, where's my map here? All right, now what about Hezbollah, Lebanon? It says Tyre and Zidon as well. So let's look at Tyre and Zidon. There's Tyre. There's Zidon. Okay? So, those lands are also going to be evacuated, probably all the way up to Beirut, right here, and be taken by the state of Israel. I mean, if you want to, look what it says here, right? Will you render unto me a recompense? If you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head, because you have taken my silver and my gold, and carried away into your temples my pleasant things, the children of Yehuda and Jerusalem you have sold to the Greeks, that you might remove them far from their border. I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them. He did. And I will return your recompense upon your own head. That's probably starting to happen right now. I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Yehuda. So he's going to give Yehuda victory over Tyre, Zidon, and Pelishit, which means Hezbollah is going to be destroyed, rooted out, and so will Hamas. And shall sell them, as including the Hezbollah, to the Sabians, to the people far off. Jehovah has spoken it. So, in order for the next section to begin, Israel must, in my opinion, lay claim or drive out the inhabitants all the way, probably maybe somewhere between Zidon and Beirut. All right? Although probably all the way up to Mount Hermon as well. And then, we'll scroll down here a little bit. And then I would suspect Gaza all the way down to about here, or it could be all the way down. Okay? And then the whole world will try to begin to make war. Now, let's go to war news, as you can see right here. I'm not going to go through this particular article. We already know what's going on. But it says, Israeli forces enter north and central Gaza. All right? Now, while all this is going on, Iran. The large-scale exercise of the ground army has begun with Russian Kornet and Israeli Spike missiles. So now they're preparing for war. Okay, Iran is. All right, the two-day large-scale high training of the Iranian army in Nasser Abad, Isfahan province has begun with the presence of high-ranking officers, including Brigadier General Aziz Nazirzadeh, who is acting as the deputy chief of the General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. A representative of the Iranian army stated on TV that the goal of the two-day exercise is to evaluate the combat capabilities of various military units, test weapons, and check the flight readiness of over 200 helicopters. Now, I want to show you something real quick here. So, this particular fella says, I know you all are distracted, but don't you think it's a bit overkill that the U.S. has sent 4 battle groups? Remember a video that I did not too long ago, warning people that a certain earthquake is going to take place in the land of Israel that's going to be so great that it's going to sink all of these ships, or very likely sink all the ships in the Mediterranean Sea. So you have the United States of America with a battle group. So 4 aircraft carrier battle groups in the Mediterranean Sea? Is this right? That would be almost half of the United States' entire Navy fleet. And it is no wonder that the ships of Tarshish are going to be first to bring all Israel back. It is no wonder the statement that is written in Isaiah 60 says what it says. But I digress. This event is going to occur, and I think I might know when. I will get to that either in this video or upcoming videos. The time is coming. I'll go ahead and give you my thought, the time, and why I believe it is going to occur at that time. Haggai 2, verse 18 through 22 says that the great earthquake is going to occur, or implies that the great earthquake is going to occur Here's what I mean. If you then look at Ezekiel 39, it is at the same time that the great earthquake occurs that the fires will fall upon Magog and those who dwell carelessly in the coastlands of the sea, aka Rome, Europe, Western civilization. I believe those are nuclear weapons. This great earthquake may or may not be preceded or followed by Israeli nukes, or these nukes that are being cast back and forth by Russia to Europe and from Europe to Russia, maybe as a result of the Russians thinking or the Europeans thinking that the United States or somebody has come up with a secret weapon like HARP or whatever, and they have no choice now but to use their nukes. Okay? I don't want to get, but I'm just saying, if you read Haggai 2 verses 18 through 22, you know clearly it is talking about Hanukkah. And that's not far away, folks. So keep Hanukkah in mind. Like I said, I will be going over that in the coming videos. Now, he said he's going to sell their sons and daughters into the hand of the children of Yehuda, and he's going to do it. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. That means Tyre and Zidon, that's southern Lebanon, and Gaza, to a people afar off, the Sabians. And this is going to trigger the Gentiles to prepare war and to wake up their mighty men. And this is when you're going to see Jehovah's champion come down. Assemble yourselves, come down, all you Gentiles, and gather yourselves together round about. Cause your mighty ones, cause your Gabur, your mighty, strong, mighty champion to come down. Folks, that is the time. And when the champion comes down, that is when the great earthquake in Israel occurs. I'm expecting, I may not be right, but I'm expecting, if this thing moves along as quickly as I think it might, I'm expecting this great earthquake, the assembling of the nations, and all of that to happen right around Hanukkah this year. That's what I'm expecting. Now, if you think, folks, that what's happening right now is not a big deal, okay, remember this, and then there is this. This is Joe Biden. I also, by the way, recall reading an article that Joe Biden said if there was not a state of Israel, the United States would have to create one for their interests, whatever that means. But anyway, dear Mr. Speaker, dear Madam President of the Senate, As I have reported previously, militia groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps have perpetrated a series of attacks against United States personnel and facilities in Iraq and Syria. Since October 17, 2023, these militia groups have conducted numerous attacks using unmanned aerial systems and indirect fire, injuring several United States service members. A United States contractor suffered a fatal cardiac incident while moving to shelter during the use of one of these attacks. These attacks have placed under grave threat the lives of the United States and personnel in the coalition forces operating alongside United States forces. In response to this series of attacks and continued threats, future attacks at my direction on the night of October 26, 2023, 2 days ago, the United States forces conducted targeted strikes against facilities in eastern Syria. The precision strikes targeted facilities used by the IRCGC and affiliated groups for command and control, munition storage, and other purposes. The strikes were intended to establish deterrence and were conducted in a manner to limit the risk of escalation and avoid civilian casualties. I directed the strikes in order to protect and defend our personnel, to degrade and to disrupt the ongoing series of attacks against the United States with our partners, to deter Iran and Iran-backed militia groups from conducting or supporting further attacks on United States personnel and facilities. I directed this military action consistent with my responsibility to protect United States citizens both at home and abroad, and in furthermore of the United States national security and foreign policy interests pursuant to any of my constitutional authority as Commander-in-Chief and Chief Executive, and to conduct United States foreign. I can't pull up any more up. But he's essentially invoking the War Powers Act, or he is invoking his authority in the War Powers Act. So this is a big deal, and it is a big deal that almost half of the U.S. Navy is in the Mediterranean Sea. They know what's about to happen. And you need to act accordingly. The Ukraine situation is nothing compared to what's happening right now. Should I go to Haggai 2? All right. Now, you should read the whole chapter, but to get total context. But consider now, or put in place, set this day. Set this day. Remember this day. Never forget this day. What day? From today and forward. From the 24th day of the 9th month, the day that the foundation of Jehovah's temple was laid, set that day. Why? Because on this day, he will bless. On that day, he will bless. He will abundantly bless. Bless, bless, bless. Now it also says curse, curse, curse. So who is he going to bless and who is he going to curse? Well, obviously he's going to bless Israel and curse Israel's enemies. What's going to happen on that day? What does he mean by that? And again, the word of Jehovah came into Haggai in the 24th day of the month. Of what month? Of the 9th month. Just like it said right here. The 24th day of the 9th month. Came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month. Speak unto Zerubbabel, governor of Yehuda, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. All right, let us go then to Ezekiel. This is why I believe that Ezekiel 39, you see, Ezekiel 38 is talking about the invasion. Ezekiel 39 is talking about the failure of the invasion. All right? Actually, we'll go to, let's see. We need to go to verse 38 because actually it's written in 38. All right. All of you should know by now and agree by now that what's going to happen after this particular event occurs, then all the Gentiles around about Iran, Russia, and all of them are going to come down just like it says here. But there's a great earthquake in the land. Right? Watch this. This is what I have spoken of in old times by my servants the prophets of Israel. What prophet? Haggai, which prophesied in those days in a particular year that I will bring you against them. And it shall come to pass at that time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith Adonai Jehovah, that my fury shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy and the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there will be a great shaking in the land of Israel. Let's go back to Haggai. And it says this. What day are we supposed to remember? This day, the 24th day of the 9th month, on the day that the temple was laid. Well, every Jew knows what day that is. That is the first day of, or the day before, Hanukkah. Says concerning, he said unto him on the 24th day, speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Yehuda, saying, I will shake the heaven and the earth, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the Gentiles. I will overthrow their chariots and those that ride in them, and warbirds, because that's what Zeus also means. And their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. And what does he say here? In verse 21, I will call for a sword against him on my mountain, says Adonai Jehovah. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. What day are we supposed to look for? Well, he gave us a day. When we see these events in Yoel begin to happen, when his mighty one comes down, you can expect the great earthquake. Yes, the more I think of it, the more I believe now that this is going to shake up the ships of Tarshish so badly, this event, because the ships of Tarshish are now sitting in the Mediterranean Sea, almost half of the American fleet. Folks, if you have any of your children on any one of those ships, make sure you send them your goodbyes. Isaiah 60. Why are the ships of Tarshish going to be the first to comply? I think we might have swerved into the answer today. Verse 8. They will be flying in the clouds like doves to their lattices. The coastlands, that's the Roman coastlands, shall wait, because the ships of Tarshish will be first to bring your sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto Shem Jehovah Elohim, the Holy One of Israel. I'm kind of shocked to see that many ships, American ships, in the Mediterranean Sea too. But you see, the United States cannot protect Israel and will not be able to. It is the Redeemer of Israel that is going to protect Israel. And if anybody gets in his way, he will destroy their armies and sink their ships. Expect more videos like this soon.